missed it by that much.
Right? I literally just said, you're blinking. I'm having an eye issue this morning, and it's like I'm blinking a lot, and I said, you blink a lot, and you miss something. I look over, and it's
0.
So,
and we missed it.
That worked. Missed it by
that much. Good morning, everybody.
Well, we just dated ourselves, didn't we?
Well, even more so, because I told you what date it is.
Oh, I know. That's what we were talking about. Today's June 6th.
June 6th.
2025.
Yes.
And should I tell him?
Sure.
I walked the stage.
Oh, yeah, I remember that day.
At DAR Constitution Hall on this day back in 1986. So 39 years ago today was my senior class graduation.
And I remember you walking across that stage at Constitution Hall. I was just a freshman. He was a senior. And I was bold. I signed I love you as he was walking towards the choir was sitting up in the loft. He didn't see me. But I said it. And then 36 years ago today.
Was it today, Tim?
Yeah, June 6th. 36 years ago today, I was walking across the stage at the Kennedy Center.
I was not sitting in the audience in the choir signing I love you.
No,
Sorry.
You weren't. And the really cool thing about my graduation, I was the pianist for the school that year, those couple years, but that year I got to play the grand piano at Kennedy Center Concert Hall. That was pretty cool. I did.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
At least I don't think I knew that.
You wouldn't have. But it was pretty cool.
You played piano at the Kennedy Center?
I did. There are pictures of it somewhere.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks. My little lame claim to fame. Thanks, Weird Al.
Shout out to the Weird Al fans.
Right. Yeah.
Basically our children.
But Weird Al got Daniel into accordion, and that's turned out to be pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's turned out to be pretty cool.
Who thought that would happen?
Not us.
Right? He wants to buy an accordion. It's like when our daughter wanted to buy a violin. We're like, oh, Lord.
I think that's still upstairs in our room buried somewhere.
That didn't
last.
Daniel took to the accordion because of Weird Al, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And he became friends with one of his bandmates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, whatever. It's pretty cool.
It is. And Daniel he taught himself a lot of the accordion and Shostakovich's waltz. Did I say that right? Do we get any points for that?
Yeah, no. I think so. Yeah, that sounds right. Waltz. W-A-L-T-Z.
Yeah, that's the word I was worried about. So happy Friday.
Shostakovich.
We hope you guys have...
I'm Seth, by the way.
And I'm Tammy. We're the 4031 family, which is why you're, watching this thing that says the 4031 family morning moments with Seth and Tammy. So you found us.
We're sitting on the wrong side. Should we flip the video so that we're showing...
No, that'd be weird. Because all of our video thumbnails have it this way.
Well, I can flip it back for the thumbnail.
No, that'd be weird. That'd be weird. It's like our page, all of them are images like this. It's just about what we're wearing.
When I remember to do a thumbnail.
Yeah, because there are some really weird images that are up there. But yeah, so we hope you've had a great week.
They're usually good shots of Tammy. I try to find shots of Tammy that are flatter.
Yeah, sometimes like the Carvin Walls video.
Oh, well, that's a long time ago. Well, but the whole
bawling.
Well, whatever. What do you know? Tammy's crying in a picture. Hey, you own that. I do. Yeah, I can call it, can I?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, I can't wait to see, though, at our daughter's wedding, watch you cry as you're doing the dance with her. Mm. Everyone laughs at me because at our two sons' weddings, I had the dance and I was crying. And it was like, it was so awesome. Tammy was crying. And it wasn't awesome. I'll be crying when you're dancing with Jillian, too. Don't worry.
And that's what they'll be filming.
Me?
Yeah. Look at Mom watching her husband and her daughter.
I don't have any video of me dancing with my boys. There's very few pictures of me dancing with my boys.
We can record something later today.
That'd be great. Me dancing with the boys. Very few pictures of that.
That'd be funny.
So everybody else has it in their memory. I don't. Well, I was dancing with my sons.
The pictures are there. You've got... Whatever. So, this morning,
we are doing our Days of Praise from the Institute for Creation Research. Did I do it again?
You did.
We've only been working for this company How old is Stephen? 22?
That's a long time.
22 years. Institute
What?
for Creation Research.
No. 17 years.
Oh, yeah, he was already born. It's Jeremiah's
he was
age.
5. Oh.
It's 2008. We started working with the Institute for Creation Research. This place that sends out these things. Really good place. It's
Yeah, you can go to the
rough.
link listed on the screen. What?
It's gonna be
You
rough.
can go to the link listed on the screen and subscribe.
Yeah.
They'll send it to you every day in your email, or you get a devotion booklet once a quarter.
Go to icr.org/DOP. I can say letters. I just can't say the words today. It's Friday. Got me some slack.
So today's devotion. I guess Tammy's
It's up.
reading it. Today.
I'm up.
Tammy's up. So,
Ooh, by Daryl.
yeah,
I don't think I've ever read a devotion by Daryl before.
I have.
I haven't.
He's pretty good.
Cool.
I'll
I
let
look
you read
forward
it,
to
though.
it. Thanks.
There you go.
This is entitled Choosing This Day by Daryl Robbins.
Long verse, Daryl.
This is a long verse, as you can see by our screen. All right. Now, therefore, fear the Lord, and serve him in sincerity and in truth, and put away the gods which your fathers served on the other side of the flood and in Egypt, and serve ye the Lord. And if it seem evil unto you to serve the Lord, choose you this day whom ye will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served that were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the Amorites, in whose land ye dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord.
There you go.
Joshua 24, verses 14 and 15.
There are many, many, many pieces of wall decor hanging in homes with Joshua 24,
Right?
15b, as for
There are
me and my
even
house.
some mugs on our store,
Oh!
and mouse pads on our store,
Indeed,
and a
yeah.
tumbler at our store with that verse. No, it's
Check it
a
out
great
at
verse.
4031family.com. Sorry, are they
Yeah.
on the website?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
It is, and it's actually a really nice design with the papyrus looking thing and all that.
Well, thanks.
Yeah. Who did that?
Me.
Oh, cool.
I mean, Joshua provided the words. I just provided the backdrop.
True.
Anyway, this is one of those key verses that you'll find in most of your Christian decor stores. It's a foundational testimony to the household.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
It's-
and the context, which I'm glad Daryl included. You know, the context is a challenge because the Israelites had moved into a land. They'd conquered Canaan, and there were lots of people there worshiping other gods, and very much akin,
little g gods.
little g gods. Yeah, obviously, very much akin to what we have today, with lots and lots of people with lots and lots of different views. Most people's view of God is themselves exalted. Obviously, we live in a very humanistic, self-centered world, but the point Joshua was making is even when you're surrounded by these strange, foreign, fake gods who you can go along to get along with, right? You can worship with the people and all that. Or even if you go back to the gods of your fathers, people your ancestors worshipped or whatnot. But his point is, that's for me and my house.
Well, and I think that point there of going back to the gods of your father, that can be a line in the sand for people, because you'll get wasn't fill in the blank, wasn't what I had good enough? It was good enough for me. Why isn't it good enough for you? And I've got to imagine that was a really difficult thing. Of these are the people that we serve. Who are you to say you're going to go to someone else? If they got us here this far,
Right.
I can't imagine how difficult that would have been. I mean, I can. We've had moments of times like that. I know that, we talk about the little g gods of back then that would have been causing this issue. But we've got lots of little g gods now
Money,
that
power,
our
prestige.
society serves.
Sure.
And when we make a stand for the Bible, and we make a stand for our big G God, and when we make a stand to serve the Lord, even today in 2025, there's still that chasm that is
Yeah, and
split between
and
peoples.
oftentimes consequences
Yeah.
for making that decision. Yeah.
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 All right, let's see what Daryl has to say. At the end of his life, Joshua presented the nation of Israel with a two-step challenge, a putting off and a taking on. Holding to only one part of this commitment would do no good. If they clung to foreign gods, their spiritual state would resemble that of the surrounding nations. Trying to add the great I am from Exodus 3:14 into their personal pantheon would not work either. The Lord made it clear, "Thou shalt have no other gods before me." That's from Exodus 20, verse 3. For a time, the nation followed the one true God, but as time passed, they began to compromise. It's so simple and easy to do that.
Well, we talked about it yesterday, the subtlety with which you start compromising. You start, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's scary how fast it can take over.
Yep. And it always seems reasonable.
Right.
Think, well, we can't touch the tree. If we can't eat from the tree in the middle of the garden, we probably shouldn't even touch it.
Yeah.
That seems reasonable, right?
Right.
Why be tempted to think? So we'll just make...
And we've added to it.
This is going back to the example from yesterday.
Yeah.
Now we've added to it. And
well, I bet God would not want to touch it either.
right. Well, actually, God put you in the garden to tend the garden. That tree may have needed tending, so that was...
Yeah.
Potentially also the start of another form of rebellion and not doing what God had intended them to do in the garden. Doesn't say that. But.
All right. But as time passed, they began to compromise, and Judges records their cycle of falling away and returning to God. By the end of that book, the assessment of their spiritual condition was every man did that which...
God bless you.
Goodness, I thought I was going to be able to get through the sentence. I'm sorry. By the end of that book, the assessment of their spiritual condition was every man did that which was right in his own eyes. Judges 21:25.
Yeah, that phrase occurs many times in the book of Judges. Specifically, it says there was no king in Israel. And of course, a lot of people read that to mean an actual king. That would come with Saul and David. But I think it probably means there was no king. It means people didn't look at God like they were supposed to. They had fallen away and, were coming back. That's the point. There was no authority over the people. They got to do whatever they wanted to do. They were putting their own desires above what they had been told over and over and over again. And it's exactly what happens all throughout history eventually,
Including current
times. There is no God in heaven. We can do whatever we want. I mean, that's what people say. It's right out of the Bible.
Or my God wouldn't tell me not to do this.
One, right? My God wouldn't.
My God tells me to love people and love everyone.
Yeah. Love them with the truth. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
So, what can a believer do to avoid outright rebellion? I don't know this word. Syncretism?
Syncretism.
I avoid. It was earlier in the article in parentheses, and I just went right past it. I didn't think he was going to bring it up again. So, what does syncretism mean?
Syncretism is synthesizing different things together. It is incorporating Christianity into your local faith. Like, so when missionaries go into, this is not how it's supposed to happen. The danger is when missionaries go into unreached areas or they come in across new people, a lot of times the inclination of the people is to incorporate Christianity, add the great I am, add Yahweh, add the Lord to the local pantheon.
That's what he was
talking about earlier. Yeah, it's to, again, incorporate, but God doesn't want to be incorporated into your faith life. He wants to be your faith life. That's the point, and He deserves it because He is God, and all these other things are not.
Okay.
There are.
He's not an add-on.
Right. The most. Catholicism is known for its syncretism as they go into areas and they allow local traditions to be incorporated into the church in one way or another. So you've got, I don't want to get into specifics, but that's one of those things. That's why you have very, very different liturgical things between things in Mexico versus things in Italy. You know, they incorporate the faith into the culture as opposed to letting God transform the culture, which is what He wants to do.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
anyway.
So, going back, what can a believer do to avoid outright rebellion, syncretism, or just simple wandering? Begin each morning with the refreshed decision to choose you this day whom you will serve. The new day will hold temptations, distractions, and general busyness. It is a challenge, but God is pulling for His children. 2 Chronicles 16:9. That was really good.
Yeah.
And it's so true, and I kind of feel like that's what you and I have done these last 5 or 6 weeks
So we're
by
trying
doing
to do.
this.
Yep.
It
This isn't for you. I mean, it is for you, obviously, because we're doing it publicly.
Right.
But it's a way for us to declare,
Yeah.
you know, daily for our God.
Well, it's really easy to say, I'm going to start doing this, that, or the other. And I think that's one of the reasons we started doing it live, was because it holds us accountable, because potentially people are waiting and watching. And
Well, yeah.
and again, even if not,
When we were doing it before, when we were doing like the daily devotions with Dad and stuff like that, that was great and it was cool, but it was a lot of work.
yeah,
Because I went in, we videoed it, and then you went in after the fact and you edited it, and you have to go through that whole process.
Mhm.
And sometimes I just didn't have time,
right.
and so things didn't happen daily, right? So
Yeah, doing them live, there's no re-edits, there's none of that, obviously.
what you see is what you get.
Obviously.
Right?
But it's something that we're doing first thing in our morning. Well, first thing in my morning. You're usually up for a while at this point, but it's choosing this day, devoting our early time of the day to the Lord, hoping to come along others to do so. But as you've said, if nothing else, then it's time for you and me,
Yeah.
as our house, to declare,
Yeah.
as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord.
Yep. Yep.
That has definitely been a phrase I've seen come back in my Facebook memories, because we've
As we
had
take stands.
moments
Yeah.
in our church life. We've had to take stands. We've had moments in our personal lives, family versus family, if you will. Our family has always been very strong.
Not always very.
Our Texas 9, our 7 children and 2, we 9 have always been very, very strong, a very strong Christian family. That has come into conflict with anything outside of our house, whether it's family or church or friends. Not to say that we're unique in that sense, but I've seen things come up on my Facebook memories of, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord.
I remember why I typed that. She'll say, I remember that day. I know what that was about.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to put God first.
Yeah. At the expense of, unfortunately, a lot of things that are dear to your heart. Unfortunately, a lot of times at the expense of people who are dear to your heart. And that's hard.
It is hard.
That's a really, really hard stand. I do remember one of those moments was in 2002 when we came back to Texas. And I made a stand and basically told people, I'm not picking up the phone. I'm not doing any of that. I have to focus on Seth and myself, and at that time, our 3 children.
You were pregnant with him before.
Yeah, I was pregnant with 4. And that was a really, really, really hard time. But I had to make this pivot.
Seemed like
I had to make a pivot emotionally, though, too. It wasn't just making the statement, as for me and my house. There was an action that had to follow it. And I think that that's an action that sometimes we're afraid to take. But if it's the right action, if it's the God glorifying action, as he says, God's pulling for his children,
Right.
as Daryl puts out there at the end. And I've never heard it phrased that way. I'd love to know what 2 Chronicles 16:9 says, but it's, let's find out what 16:9 says.
I have to look around the camera.
I got it. For the eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the whole earth, to show himself strong in the behalf of them whose heart is perfect toward him. Herein thou hast done foolishly, therefore from henceforth thou shalt have wars. So yeah, he's searching the earth for those who say, you are my Lord.
Making a stand for him, yeah. He's pulling for his children.
And sometimes that's in the midst of battles that we might have found ourselves stuck in.
Well, we like to think that we've got, especially here in America, things are easy, right? We get up, we work, we come home, we go to the grocery store, buy our kids food, blah blah. Everything is easy. When you're in a situation like that, it can be very easy to read words like, "Sell all your possessions and follow me," that Jesus says to the rich man. Because we're not going to be called to do that, right? But the reality is, he also said to the guy, leave your father and mother. Don't go back and bury your father. If you're going to come. There is a very real call to put God first.
That was 2002 for us.
Yeah, it was.
When we left family.
There's a very real call to put God first, and it likely will cause strife, because Jesus said, I didn't come to bring peace but a sword. I came to divide, mother or father from son, and blah 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 blah. The point is that when you take the stand for God, you might lose everything.
Yeah.
You might lose everything.
And we have multiple times by taking that stand.
But the Bible says, in Matthew, it says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness.
Yeah.
That's the focus. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. And then what? And all of these things will be added unto you. All of your needs. God will take care of all your needs. We talked about Malachi, where he says, prove me.
Yeah.
Test me. You think I won't? Say I won't. Do your part, right? Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and then test me, and I will show myself that I go, 1 Chronicles, right? Or 2 Chronicles 16:9. 2 and 4, looking for those who are taking that stand, that I can restore them. So, that's a paraphrase. Sorry, because the camera's in the way. So,
it's a hard stand, but it's a worthwhile stand.
Paraphrases.
It's a good one.
Yeah, his point is to show himself strong in the behalf of those whose heart is perfect towards him. People whose hearts are focused on God, God will prove your strength. He will prove his strength by taking care of you.
Yeah. When I'm weak, you are strong.
But it's one of those things. It's like he's taking care of us in a longer term game than we're often thinking, right? Mm-hmm. Eternity is a long time. But run the race, do it faithfully.
Yeah.
And hopefully hear, well done, my good and faithful servant.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Daryl.
Yeah, that was really, really good. I appreciate your time that you spent putting into that.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah.
And it's a good call to everybody. And
especially today, because there are so many, we don't think about, our society has, in large part, done away with the notion of family-based or religious center, whatever. Atheism, agnosticism runs rampant. But in the words of the philosopher, some of you will laugh when I say this, if you choose not to decide, you still made a choice, right? God says, you're either for me or you're against me. You can't say, well, I don't really, God, that's against him, period. Mm-hmm. It's not, agnosticism doesn't work, and God doesn't believe in atheists. So, thank you, Ray Comfort, for the book title, because that's great, but it's true. Romans 1, we go back to that. They are without excuse. God has made himself known to everybody. What you do with it, you will be accountable for.
But people do not like being limited. And there are
No.
things that God has set forth that are limiting to people, and in today's society where it's me, I.
How dare you, attack my
Fill in the blank here. It's
fill in the
yeah.
blank here. Bodily integrity, I was going to say, because that's where a lot of the culture war is about bodily integrity. Bodily integrity. Who gave you your body?
Yeah.
Right? The Bible's the owner's manual for your body, so take care of it. Read it, know it, study it. You don't have to like what it says. You know what I hate when I go to the doctor is he gives me medicine that tastes bad. Ugh. I hate that. I'm not going to do that. Well, okay, get sick and die. Right? I mean that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
I mean. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. I feel like I'm on a rant.
It's not been hard to choose God.
It's hard to maintain that faith. It's hard
to maintain it in the midst of everyone telling you that you're an idiot to maintain it.
Right. I'll be an idiot for God. That's fine.
Right? I mean, when you're criticized everywhere on social media for having any kind of feeling of godly truth, I mean, social media anymore, I just stay far, far away from.
I'm surprised we don't have more haters commenting on videos, but they'll come.
Who knows?
They'll come someday.
I pray for all of those who are out there who are fighting a really strong battle for the Lord. There are some of the social media icons out there who are strong in their faith, and they are bold, and they are unapologetic in their stand, and they face some mighty big back talk, and God's got quite a shield around them to give them that tough skin to hold tight to that. So
yeah.
As for me and my house,
we will serve the Lord
with strong-willed hearts and children. We're pretty lucky.
Indeed so.
Very blessed. There's not lucky. It's blessed.
Well,
so have an amazing weekend.
Oh, it's Friday.
It's Friday.
We should have a Friday theme song.
I don't know what it would be.
I don't know.
What are we doing this weekend? You have studying to do for Sunday school. That'll be fun. Work on our website. Get ready for our event.
I don't know.
I don't know. Hey, if there are any prayer requests, we haven't done this in a while. If you have any prayer requests, please feel free to say pray with me or pray for me in your comments. You can send an email to praywithme@the4031family.com. Or if you wish to talk to one of us personally, you can go to Seth or Tammy @the4031family.com. I'm going to sneeze again.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Ugh. Trying to fight it.
Well, thanks again for joining us today for the 4031 family. I'm Seth.
I'm Tammy.
And remember, and this is why, I was going to say this earlier, this is why we say this, right?
Yeah.
Because we were talking earlier about, I don't like medicine or whatever, he's the doctor, you're not. That's what it comes down to, right? And he's God.
We're not.
And don't forget that.
Yeah.
Let him be God and Lord.
That's right. Yeah. Have a great weekend.
Indeed.
We will be back Monday morning at 9:30 Central. See you later.
10:30 Eastern.
Bye.
8:30 Mountain.
Stop. See you later.
7:30 Pacific.
Bye.
6:30 Alaskan time? I don't know.
Have a great weekend.
See ya.
Bye.
Same God time. Same God channel. See ya.